Mercury Grand Marquis 1997 to 2002. The third-generation Grand Marquis went on sale in late 1997 for the 1998 model year with an evolutionary update to the exterior and interior. While the 1992 Crown Victoria was better received in the marketplace than the new for $1,991 Chevrolet Caprice, its exterior design, inspired by the Ford Taurus, was not as popularly accepted as the Grand Marquis. The love or hate styling factor was bolstered by the fact that the Grand Marquis outsold the Crown Victoria in 1994 and 1997, despite the Vic's police and fleet sales advantage. Ford took note and kept the Grand Marquis design language in place for 1998 while bringing much of it to the Crown Victoria to pivot away from 1992-1997 era look. To streamline production, Ford and Mercury returned to a shared rear roofline between the two model lines. Using the formal rear styling of the Grand Marquis, the configuration would remain in use through the end of production in 2011. With General Motors' full-size B-body vehicles discontinued in 1996 to focus on more profitable SUVs and trucks, the third-generation Grand Marquis mostly competed against its Ford Crown Victoria counterpart and remained successful, selling over 100,000 units per year. The third-generation Grand Marquis retained the Panther chassis from its predecessors, lengthened in wheelbase to 114.7 inches. To upgrade handling stability, the 3-link rear axle, in use on large Fords since 1965, was replaced by a 4-link rear axle with a Watts linkage, though a solid rear axle was retained. To improve braking, the 4-wheel disc brakes were given dual piston calipers for the front rotors, requiring the use of 16-inch wheels. For 2002, ABS became standard. The traction control, which remained an option, was revised to work at any speed, rather than only low speeds. The third-generation Grand Marquis retained the same powertrain as the 1995 to 1997 Grand Marquis, with a 4.6 liters modular V8 and a 4-speed 4R70W automatic transmission. In a minor revision, several underhood components were relocated, with the power steering reservoir was attached to the engine and the coolant overflow reservoir was relocated onto the radiator. Both were located on a fender. In another change, the engine was converted to coil-on plug ignition along with fail-safe cooling using a dual-speed electric fan. For 1998, the standard equipment V8, with single exhaust, was increased in output to 200 horsepower, from 190. The handling suspension package continued in production, paired with the dual exhaust version of the 4.6 liters V8, producing 215 horsepower. For 2001, the engines were retuned to 220 and 235 horsepower, respectively. A 2.73 rear axle ratio was paired with single exhaust engines. As part of the handling package, a numerically higher rear axle ratio was used. For 2000 and early 2001, a 3.55 rear axle was used. Other versions used a 3.27 rear axle. While bearing a strong resemblance to the previous generation, the 1998 Grand Marquis shared only the roof stamping and doors from its 1997 predecessor. Designers revised the front and rear bumpers, squaring off their design. The exterior trim was largely simplified, deleting the chrome trim above the headlamps. The rear fascia is similar to the Crown Victoria but instead uses a red lens panel between the taillights. The grille was restyled slightly as a larger version of the 1995 to 1997 design. The interior was carried over from the 1995 update, with a 2-spoke steering wheel replacing the previous 4-spoke design. The chrome trim was deleted from the column-mounted gear shifter and the turn signal lever. For 2001, the Crown Victoria and Grand Marquis adopted radios with an integrated clock function, used by other Ford vehicles since the early 1980s, with a separate digital clock deleted.